Oh my god, guys, it's official. We have come to a day in WWE that this company is the biggest wad of shit walking on the face of the earth. This is the worst promotion I have ever seen. There's an old saying that Triple H used to say with his faction, Evolution. When you fail to evolve, evolution passes you by. Or if you fail to adapt and change, evolution passes you by. Folks, WWE is failing to evolve. They're trying to stay in the past. We have The Miz become the new WWE champion for the second time in his career. I would be happy about this if Miz was actually doing great all year long and then finally winning the title, but we just saw a person who has probably the worst win-loss record in the last year given the WWE Championship. Now, granted, I was all for it when they gave the briefcase to The Miz if The Miz was going to be on a winning streak, but my God, that briefcase would have worked out better with Sheamus having the fucking briefcase and going ahead and cashing it in at WrestleMania in a one-on-one match, granting him his match at WrestleMania against Drew McIntyre. I would have been okay with that. Not that it would have been the greatest build between those two guys, but it would actually, the briefcase would have been a nice bridge to why Sheamus is getting a one-on-one match with Drew McIntyre outside of turning on his former friend. It would have made Sheamus look like a badass, being more confident in himself than trying to just do a lame-ass cash-in, which everyone has tried to do in the past. The only cash-in that has ever worked out in that kind of mindset or way is when Edge cashed in on John Cena and The Undertaker when they were done performing in two rigorous matches, one being the Elimination Chamber with John Cena in 2006, and the other in 2007 when Undertaker had a grueling match with Batista in a steel cage on SmackDown. Outside of those two cash-ins, the rest of the cash-ins have been a complete and utter joke, repeating the same fucking trademark that Edge did back in the day when he first won the briefcase, and then the second time. Otherwise, these cash-ins have been worthless. Seth Rollins was a little bit different. I have to give him credit. He was a little bit interesting, but the strategy, I don't know so much. Thinking about it now, it was a good idea. He wasn't getting a guaranteed one-on-one match. He was placed in a triple threat match instead of a singles match with the world champion. So, but he did win. So at the end of the day, he did cash in at the right time to make it a triple threat match to put it in his favor, but at the same time, he could have lost anyway in the process. Miz also tried to attempt to cash in the damn briefcase during a ladder match, a TLC ladder match between AJ Styles and Drew McIntyre, and failed miserably. Thought that was the worst shit I ever seen. And secondly, why the fuck did he get another opportunity to keep the briefcase just because John Morrison told the referee to ring the bell? It was his guy, his partner in crime, helping him out. Then we got Bobby Lashley attacking Drew McIntyre after the match was over for the Elimination Chamber. That's something I forgot to mention in this whole entire opening. And he beats the hell out of him. You see Miz and MVP backstage talking. So apparently they made out some kind of deal. What that deal is, that's a good cliffhanger. But at the same time, you're talking about The Miz, who has been on a horrible losing streak in the last year, and he has done nothing whatsoever since winning that briefcase. What a terrible, terrible way to book The Miz as your Money in the Bank briefcase holder, and secondly, going ahead and being a fucking loser and having Bobby Lashley have to do your dirty work for you before you can actually cash in on the champion. This was the worst fucking ending of a pay-per-view I've seen in a very long time. There's probably others that I don't remember, and nor do I care to remember. Bottom line, guys, this was terrible ending to a rather decent pay-per-view. I didn't have any complaints about it. The SmackDown Elimination Chamber match, I actually enjoyed a lot more than the Raw WWE Championship match. I thought the SmackDown version of the Elimination Chamber was a hell of a lot better. There was definitely some surprises in the SmackDown Elimination Chamber match. I did not expect Kevin Owens to get eliminated third in that match. The first person that was eliminated was Baron Corbin. The second person was Sami Zayn. Then it was Kevin Owens. And then after that was Cesaro, I believe. Yeah, Cesaro was the next one. And then we had Daniel Bryan defeat Jey Uso. Jey Uso actually got a couple of eliminations in that match. He looked pretty good, but ended up losing to Daniel Bryan regardless. Daniel Bryan was laying in that ring like a lump of shit. He couldn't move, couldn't do nothing. I was figuring this match was going to be the last match on the card. This was going to be revisited later on in the night as the main event matchup. Unfortunately, that was not the case. The match started right after the Elimination Chamber was lifted from the ring, and Roman Reigns came in and almost submitted. He was placed in the yes lock as he was trying to go for a spear, but unfortunately it was countered to a yes lock by Daniel Bryan, and he looked like he was going to make a match out of this. I never expected him to win, but I was expecting maybe something was going to happen, something special, but nothing really happened. It was countered. He managed to power his way out of the submission hold. He then mounted him and started doing MMA-style ground and pound maneuver on fucking Daniel Bryan. He was hitting him with his forearms severely bad. I mean, he was fucking at least trying to make it look legit. And he was roughing him up pretty bad. At that point, nothing else really happened. He just put him in a guillotine. He couldn't answer the referee. The referee didn't want him being held in that guillotine hold by Roman Reigns for much longer for his own safety, and the referee called the match by technical knockout. And that was it. And Roman Reigns wins the match, retains his title in less than 5 minutes. After that, we had Edge show up. He speared him and point to the WrestleMania sign in answering the question, who is Edge facing? And that is going to be Roman Reigns. Like anyone didn't think that was going to happen, especially what happened on SmackDown this past Friday night with Roman Reigns attacking Edge, thinking Edge wouldn't come back and retaliate. Well, he was dead wrong about that. So he is now going to be facing Edge at WrestleMania. Wow. Big fucking whoop. Only thing I can say here at this point in time, folks, Roman Reigns loses to Edge at WrestleMania. We already seen Drew McIntyre lose to The Miz. We see Edge beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. WrestleMania will be my last review I will ever do of a WWE show ever again. I will never watch their fucking shit. I will watch their old school stuff because I enjoy that stuff. I won't deny that. More than likely, I will keep the network. By the way, speaking of that, you don't have to go to Peacock to keep the WWE network. WWE Network got their rights given to Peacock and was given a big chunk of money so that they could also have it on the Peacock Network, as well as WWE Network still exists. Because on March 21st, for Fastlane, you still can watch the pay-per-view on the WWE Network. So I don't think the WWE Network is going anywhere. I think that is for an extra, for people that would like to be able to have other things to watch besides just the WWE Network. Maybe they want to be able to watch movies, TV shows, a mixture of everything. So it gives them a variety of choices to choose from. So that's something that they're probably trying to do. I don't believe the WWE Network's going anywhere, simply because of the fact they said that the pay-per-view is going to be both on Peacock and the WWE Network, which, if that's the case, I don't see WWE Network being canceled. I see this as Peacock being another way of seeing the WWE shows and what have you, as well as their complete library as well. So it's two different ways to watch, whichever you choose. And that's basically it. So what it's going to be is what it's going to be. I don't know. I don't care. I'll keep the network until it's no longer available to me, because I am not switching over to Peacock just because. I'm going to keep it as long as I possibly can, because I really don't care to have Peacock. I got enough subscriptions as it is to begin with. So as long as, if I have the ability to watch the WWE Network without having to, cancel my subscription to it. They force us to cancel our subscription because they're closing down the WWE Network. Then, yeah, I will definitely join the Peacock so I can continue to do these wonderful reviews for this shitty-ass fucking piece of shit show. Unless Edge wins the Universal Championship from Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. If that happens, goodbye, WWE. It's been nice knowing you outside of watching your old shit. I don't fucking care anymore to review your crap. So that's pretty much that, guys, on the SmackDown side of things with Edge and Roman Reigns. The next thing that was on the card was a triple threat match later on during the show, or earlier during the show, I should say. During the pre-show, we had a qualification matchup to determine who would take over Keith Lee's spot in that triple threat match for the U.S. Championship. John Morrison was the one to win. We also had Ricochet, Ali, Mustafa Ali, and we also had Elias competing for the opportunity to join. John Morrison wins and gets the spot. John Morrison looked really good in this matchup. I thought maybe he could have possibly won the title, but that was not the case. We actually see Matt Riddle winning and pinning John Morrison in the process. So, Bobby Lashley looked like a badass in this match. He was dominating both competitors. John Morrison looked good too. Matt Riddle, he was alright, but he wasn't that good. Not as good as the other two. And I thought Bobby Lashley was going to retain this title. Fortunate enough, though, despite the fact of the loss, he didn't really get pinned, so I'm okay with it. It's not a big deal. Matt Riddle hopefully gets his character changed a little bit, becomes a little bit more serious now that he's the champion. He looked a little bit more serious when he won the title, and he says, now I have the gold, I got my ticket into WrestleMania, and so forth. So hopefully we'll see a different side of Matt Riddle at this point, instead of him being a fucking dumbass pothead clown type of character that we see every Monday night. So hopefully we get something good out of this besides a freaking joked out Matt Riddle that we've been getting for quite a while now since he's joined the main roster. The next match on the card was the women's tag team match. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. I did not watch this at all. This was not something I cared to watch. I was away from my computer. I was actually watching this on my computer tonight in the living room while I was checking out some other shit on TV. And I went ahead and I went ahead and I went to take something to eat, just a nosh on something. I come back and I see fucking Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks challenging for the tag team titles against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I was dumbfounded. I had no idea what the fuck I'm seeing here. This was a fucking joke and a half. But Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks ends up losing this match. Sasha Banks is the one who eats the pinfall too, which I think is a fucking joke. We could have gotten a disqualification, anything. I didn't give a fuck, but pinning Sasha Banks, are you freaking serious? And the person to have her get pinned by is fucking Nia Jax? You couldn't do Shayna Baszler at least? Jesus Christ, what crap. That was garbage too. I just did not care for that either. That was just bullshit. I don't know if the original opponents were even there or what have you. I don't know. I don't really care. It doesn't make a difference to me. So then the last thing was the World Championship match for Drew McIntyre's WWE title. This match wasn't bad. It was a nice way to end the show, at least what I thought it was going to be. This would have been a good way to end the show, but unfortunately they had to throw the Miz cash in on the WWE champion and have Drew McIntyre lose, which I thought was outrageously retarded. So the first person that was eliminated in this matchup actually shocked the living hell out of me. It was Randy Orton. I thought Randy Orton was going to last till there was like 3 guys. I thought he was going to be like the third or fourth person eliminated from the match, not the very first person. The person to pin him was Kofi Kingston. So that was a huge pinfall for him. He didn't do much afterwards. He got nailed by a brogue kick by Sheamus. Kofi Kingston was eliminated second. The next person that was eliminated was Jeff Hardy. I believe the person that eliminated him was Drew McIntyre with a Claymore kick. And then AJ Styles did the phenomenal forearm to Sheamus. He got the pinfall on him. And AJ Styles came very close. He ended up getting Claymore kicked in the face while attempting to do a phenomenal forearm again on Drew McIntyre this time. And unfortunately was countered with the Claymore kick and was pinned 1, 2, 3 to end the match. This wasn't a terrible Elimination Chamber. I just think the SmackDown version of the Elimination Chamber was better. It was a lot more surprising than this one. This one was really predictable. It just the order of the eliminations weren't. That's the only difference. I thought Kevin Owens was going to win that Elimination Chamber match, or Daniel Bryan. I was right, though. Daniel Bryan won, but I didn't figure it was going to be such a short match, making it a worthless matchup altogether. I think they really should have stretched out Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns' match and made it the main event. Had it after the cash-in on with The Miz on Drew McIntyre. I don't think that should have been the ending segment of the pay-per-view, us seeing him fucking holding a title. I think we should have gotten a really good one-on-one Universal title match between Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan that we all wanted to see at WrestleMania but wasn't going to be able to see it because of this stupid Vince McMahon jackass who wants to keep going ahead and coming up with all these genius ideas like Roman Reigns needs a win over Edge and Edge needs a win over fucking Roman Reigns for a Universal Championship. My God, man, what does Roman Reigns have to work with a bunch of fucking veterans? Give the match to fucking Drew McIntyre, man. He had nothing going for him. What, we're going to have Drew McIntyre and freaking Miz go at it at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. That's the big plans for Drew McIntyre. We had no plans going in, but here's a plan. We'll take the title off of him, have him go back into WrestleMania and win back the championship for a third fucking time and make his title reign mean nothing and not give him a long stretched out title reign. What a bunch of dipshits. You got no major heels on Raw. You have no major faces on SmackDown. This is a fucked up roster. Really, this is a fucked up roster. And now we're supposed to believe The Miz is going to be able to retain the title at WrestleMania. He's going to have a short, meaningless title reign. It's going to mean nothing. Drew McIntyre is going to win back the damn title at WrestleMania. And who the fuck cares? It means nothing. His reign will mean nothing. Miz's run with the title will mean nothing. Just like his wins and loss record is nothing. It means nothing if he has a briefcase and he loses all the time. You can't take this shit seriously. It's so fucking predictable. I've said this 1,000 times on my videos. The only way you can have a legitimate one-on-one match where the title flip-flops back and forth and it means something is when you have two guys that are rivals that are actually main eventers. People have won and had wins and losses and built their name up and actually have won some minor championships, mid-card titles, and have been really good in that mid-card position, and then they're moving up to the main event, and they're winning matches there in rivals against main eventers, and then eventually winning the damn major title. And then at that point, if you got two major guys, and one loses to the other, and you want to flip-flop the title between the two, it ain't gonna do any harm because they're two highly elevated characters on your roster that are believable, and it's very unpredictable on who's going to win. Prime example, Rock and Triple H. At WrestleMania 16, nobody was expecting Triple H to retain the title. Everybody expected The Rock to win the title at WrestleMania. That did not happen. He retained his fucking championship. Then we had The Rock win the title with all odds against him, with Stone Cold Steve Austin showing up at Backlash in 2000 and helping him go ahead and capture the WWE Championship. Then at Judgment Day of 2000, he goes ahead and he faces him in an Iron Man match for the damn championship, and Triple H ends up winning with a fucking surprise entrant appearance by The Undertaker after, I think, a 6-7 month absence. And he shows up and he fucking screws The Rock accidentally over out of his title, and Triple H wins the WWE Championship back from The Rock after he won at Backlash. And then at not Judgment Day, then at King of the Ring, The Rock won it in a 6-man tag team matchup, and that was the end of that rivalry. And they discontinued it altogether. That is what I would say is okay. This is not okay. Drew McIntyre should have never lost the fucking title. Miz should have never cashed in. Miz should have never even had the briefcase. Miz should have lost the briefcase to someone who actually deserves it, and that's Sheamus. We should have seen Sheamus say, hey, I'm challenging you at WrestleMania. I have the briefcase now. I'm challenging you at WrestleMania for that WWE Championship, and you and I are going at it for that title. That's it. That's all they had to do. That's all they had to fucking do. If you really wanted to go crazy and be unpredictable, you could have given the fucking briefcase to Damian Priest on fucking WrestleMania and then have him cash in on freaking Drew McIntyre out of nowhere and turn him heel. You could have done that and experimented with a young, new face superstar on your roster and see how he would do. If the ratings were doing okay and you put him in good situations and people are enjoying him as a heel or whatever you decide, then yeah, stick with him as the champion. But taking the title off of Drew McIntyre for The Miz is fucking ridiculous because his win-loss record is crap and you made him that way. And then you want to make him win the title? It devalues the championship, devalues the opponent Drew McIntyre could face at WrestleMania, and it gives us nothing to look forward to because it's very predictable. If you don't believe Drew McIntyre will win back the WWE Championship, you're a fucking idiot. This whole situation is just stupid as fuck. It's just a lame-ass excuse of saying, okay, we couldn't come up with any ideas for an opponent for Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, so we'll just give him Miz, so he'll take the title off of him and then face him at WrestleMania so he can win the title back. That's it. That's all this was. In 2 months, we will see Drew McIntyre as the WWE Champion, and Miz as a World Champion for the second time will be meaningless. Making the title meaningless and making everybody's time worthless of investing on this bullshit, which nobody's going to invest their time on, folks. If you invest your time on this piece of shit matchup, you're a fucking idiot, because I sure as hell am not. I don't care. I really don't. I don't even see this as a main event on the first night of WrestleMania. I do not see this as something you can put on the main event on the first night of WrestleMania. Dead serious. This match doesn't even belong. You could give me Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair in the main event in the first night of WrestleMania. I'll take that over fucking Drew McIntyre and the Miz. Give me a break. I'll take Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's title as the main event of WrestleMania. And there you go. You can stick that straight up your candy ass. Sideways. But at this time, guys, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel, of course. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that, as always. And I thank you very much for watching. Have a great night, guys. Bye.